She told me, she said, you're going, and stop talking about this. And I looked at her, and here I am, like all of 5 years old, like, what you mean I'm going? Wait
Right?
a minute. And I almost told my daddy on her. I didn't tell my daddy what happened until probably 3 or 4 years ago.
Sisters, hey, little girl, are you looking for hope in the world that has lied to you about who you really are? Wrong woman, holding in story she needs to tell what God really wants you to do in this world. In His name, hope to break free from the shackles and the lies.
Welcome to back to Stacy Speaks Hope. I am so grateful today to have another amazing guest. Today, our guest found herself after 15 years of teaching in Memphis, Tennessee, stepping out in faith, leaving behind a painful season or enduring and existing in a painful season of domestic violence. And she's building her life even from that place with purpose. She's a devoted wife and mother and the founder of XDJ Holdings LLC. Her mission is to bring healing to others through Jesus. Her podcast dives deep into real stories of faith, struggle, and transformation. Myra Franklin wants to remind us that while our walks with Christ may be different, the destination is the same: eternity with God. Myra, thank you so much for joining today. Welcome to Stacy Speaks Hope.
Thank you, Stacy. And you just spoke so much hope over me. Wow.
Oh,
Um, Thank you.
oh, thank you. Well, since I see her already, I'm looking at her. I want to talk to her. Myra, tell us what you know, what you remember about your little girl, as far back as you can remember.
I remember everything. I want to say I remember being born because I was kind of annoyed.
As you're watching this podcast, I just want to jump in and offer you the opportunity to get a hold of your own copy of the No More Lies guided workbook and healing journal. Because what it's about is you hear our guests share their stories, is a place to unpack those things in your life that cause you to have behaviors and patterns and responses that come from some story, some belief, some action, some reaction that your little girl had, a seed that was planted that might not have been true. We call it a lie because it's not the identity that God created us to be. And in Him and through Him do we seek Him to find the truth according to who He created us to be for the purpose He's called us to go out in the earth to do and to be. So here it is: No More Lies guided workbook and healing journal. And it takes you through some prompts and steps and encourages you just to stay on the path. You can get your own copy at stacyspeakshope.com, STACI speaks hope.com. And I'll send you a signed copy and offer you an opportunity to work on it in a group with as a workshop, because sometimes it's hard to do this work alone. So keep listening, stay tuned, and we'll drop the link so you can get the copy for yourself. Thank you and be blessed.
That's kind of the temperament I came out with. Like, what do y'all want? But I remember being about 3 or 4, and my parents were going through a lot of just drama. My mother is very strong-willed. She's a lovely lady. I love her to pieces. It's been a long road. My father is very strong-willed, very logical. He's from, Mississippi man, so he likes order and traditional structure, and so that just didn't that wasn't working. and it was stressing me out. So what they would do is during the summertime, when all my cousins were out of school, they would send me and my siblings to the country. And so I have a beautiful family in the country, big, huge. If your last name is Franklin, you're probably some kin to me. If you have this
Oh.
big forehead, you're probably some kin to me. If I look like somebody that you know, they're probably some kin to me. And
Wow.
so, big, beautiful family, God fearing family. But my parents would drop us off um, when the cousins were out of school because they could watch us. And so I have a brother, a little brother who's 2 years younger than me, but he passed away 2 years ago.
Oh,
God
I'm
rest
sorry.
his soul. And
Mm,
I have two older sisters, but one is a half sister. And the sister I grew up with, not to disparage my half sister, we just didn't spend that much time together. But the
mhm,
sister I grew up with, I mean, it was like putting us together was like putting a square peg in a circular hole. Like it didn't work, but we tried to make it work. And I love her to pieces as well. And so we all three would be in the country. I
mhm,
had an older cousin. I don't know why they let this boy watch us at any time, but he decided to do some inappropriate things. I was really too young to kind of express my discontent and didn't know how to express it. But
mhm,
I knew that what he was doing was wrong and I didn't like it. And so I became difficult to molest. And
mm,
I learned later on he possibly had dabblings with my siblings. But
mm.
I just was like, mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. This is going to be difficult. I'm going to yell. I'm going to make noise. No, I'm not going to be quiet. No, don't touch me. No, I'm not doing this.
So
And
how
so,
old were you when you remember that?
about four, right before kindergarten. I entered kindergarten at the age of 4 years old because I was potty trained. My parents were old school, but they were both professionals. And so I knew how to write my name. I knew my address, my phone number. I knew my shapes, letter, colors, numbers, all the stuff. And so they let me into kindergarten because my birthday is in September and I'd be turning 5 soon.
Okay.
So I remember with all the stress of coming back from that first summer, like being all confused and like frustrated. I remember just all the arguing going on between my parents. I just really wished I had my own house. Like I just didn't want to be there. And my grandmother, God rest her soul, was all the way in Tennessee, where I am now. And they're just in Virginia where I was born and raised, there just wasn't family. Like there was no escape. It was like I'm at home or I'm at school.
Mm,
That's it. And so I remember being at school and just like zoning out, like zoning out. My first grade teacher, Ms. Newman, my kindergarten teacher, Ms. Newman, she actually recommended me to be tested for mental retardation because I would just sit there and just be zoned out. Or I'd come to school so tired from being kept up all night with the arguing that that was where I could sleep. I mean, I have so many vivid memories of that kindergarten classroom,
mm.
so many memories of that elementary school. It's a great elementary school. I was just going through a lot. I'm not retarded. I mean, some people might beg to differ, but I don't consider myself to be mentally, suffering with issues that need to be addressed on that level. And so, not to disparage those that do suffer with mental illness, it is very real to me that that was a label that was almost assigned to me. My mother did not let that happen. And so, um, I'm sorry, what was the question?
That's okay. You're describing
My
perfect.
little
And I was
girl.
about to jump in and just say, here's what I heard you say in describing your little girl. You remember very young, very early. This other family, the summer babysitter that was a young boy.
At times, and he would take those times. It wasn't always just him. And you
Mm.
know what? Even to this day, when I go to family functions, I josh him about that. I'm like, I saw how you were looking at that little girl. That's not gonna be the case. I remember what you did. I remember, and he doesn't
Wow.
say a word. He will not. I have brought even my husband. I'm like, that's him. That's the one. Uh-huh.
Okay, you're
Yeah,
bold.
you I told you I was annoyed when they birthed me. I was like, what are all these people in this
Disrupting my peace. What's wrong with y'all?
y'all disrupting my peace. And so that's just kind of been my temperament. I can say that because it has never changed. And it's not that I'm disrespectful, but when I see something that's wrong, I'm going to say something, or if it's too dangerous to say something, I'm going to pray about it. I'm a snitch on you. I'm telling God what you're doing.
So when you
hmm
told your parents,
When
what
I
happened?
didn't tell my daddy because me and my daddy had. I mean, he was the first man I ever fell in love with. I'm talking about. I love my daddy. It changed when I became 16 and I started developing and boys started taking interest. And I used to be a tomboy, but when I started, my clothes fitted a little, nicer. My hair was a little prettier. He really lost his marbles, but that's okay. He told me, I asked him to go to a teen club one time, and he said no because you have a flirtatious disposition. And I said, Daddy, what does that even mean? I
Mm,
understand what it means now. I'm
mm.
being friendly, but to the person I'm talking to, it could come across differently and then I could be taken advantage of. But when I was little, I remember that next summer after kindergarten, there were, you hear your parents talking about what we're going to do and planning trips and all this stuff. And so I said, Mama, I don't want to go back to Mississippi. And she was like, why? And I told her what happened.
Okay.
And she said, what? And I said, yeah, I don't want to go back. I want to stay here. Now, my parents had already planned for us to be gone. They planned to work on their marriage, planned getaways, all stuff. So I literally threw a monkey wrench, I guess. I'm always throwing a monkey wrench in something, but
But no, you were speaking up for yourself,
I didn't want to go
which
back.
disrupted their plan. But the plan was that you wanted to feel safe, and you didn't feel safe with this
Nope,
older boy
nope,
trying to touch you
nope.
inappropriately. And just think about how amazing that is to have as you watch your children grow at 5 years old to have the mental clarity. First of all, to say, I don't like this, to speak up, to fight him and make it difficult, not knowing because you didn't tell your siblings when it was happening.
I didn't tell them. That's so
Right.
weird.
So just the little things, right? You knew it was wrong. You usually spoke up. You fought the perpetrator
I dealt with him directly.
directly, but then you didn't share it. So you am only saying this because perhaps at that time you thought it was just you, and you said later you found out he possibly messed with them too. Your brother
Or
too?
and I pray not. I pray not.
Okay. Okay.
I pray not. But my brother has never been. Oh Lord, rest his soul. I don't even want to speculate because he can't speak for himself anymore. But I
Hmm.
remember when I told my mom, she looked shocked, confused, but she also was overwhelmed with her own issues in her marriage and in her life. Later on, probably 30 years later, I learned that she had been touched when she was
Mm.
about 5.
Mm.
I did not know that.
And she
That
didn't tell
explains.
you yet at that time, of course, because you were a little
And
girl.
she didn't tell me. She told me, she said, you're going and stop talking about this. And I looked at her and here I am, like all of 5 years old, like, what you mean I'm going? Wait
Right?
a minute. And I almost told my daddy on her. I didn't tell my daddy what happened until probably 3 or 4 years ago. And I'm 43 years old. But that's his family. And I didn't, we
Oh,
were just talking and it like slipped out. And he was like, "What? These are serious accusations, da 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 da." But I had all the details. I had everything.
wow.
But I love my daddy. I respect my daddy. I know my daddy loves me. I know my mama loves me, but my mama told me stop talking about it. And so the only thing I can remember after that, and I think God has blessed me to like block the crazy parts out of my mind.
Hmm.
I remember my auntie um, having to take me to the doctor a lot in Mississippi. I
Mm,
remember when I would take my baths, this young man would be like, there was a closet that connected to the bathroom. It was a one bathroom in the house, and he would be like in the closet, like watching me take my bath
oh, he
or
didn't touch
watching
you?
me
Did he touch
watch
you?
no, not in the bath,
Okay.
and or he would watch me being bathed, and I it just made me feel so dirty that I would put, let me just not be graphic, but I would put soap in places that soap didn't belong because I felt filthy.
Mm,
And I remember having to go to the doctor because when I used the bathroom, it hurt. I was in
hmm.
pain.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand. And so when I came back from that summer, I don't know what my parents were just so emotionally unavailable for so long. I
Mm,
don't judge them. I love them. I think they're pretty cool people, but it made it very, very important to me to be intentional about my children, their well-being, their emotional state, who they're around, talking to them, telling them how to advocate for themselves. And
yes.
even with boys, people think it's not a big deal with boys. No,
Mhm,
it's
true.
almost even bigger deal with boys. I don't leave my sons with anyone except their um, grandmothers or their father.
Yeah.
If you're a boyfriend or a fiance, no, I'm getting a babysitter. I am going to make sure that they're around people they know and that they trust. If you're a cousin, maybe, but
Yeah.
so
I
now
want to
that
take this moment just to circle back before you go to another topic. I wrote a book, workbook, No More Lies.
yes,
And what I want to highlight that you just brought out was the message that your mother said to you about don't talk about this anymore
yeah,
because she went through it and possibly didn't have the opportunity to talk about it or whatever happened. So she asked you to perpetuate the lie that she lived or that she learned her way of learning to manage this. And in your love for and protection of your father and his family, you could have told him and it probably, it could have ended right away. You don't know. He was shocked when you told him recently. And so just, it's very subtle because the message to a little girl is, well, so somebody can touch me, look at me, treat me in a way that I don't like, even if I speak up. Because a lot of times it's not speaking up. My last episode was protecting the perpetrator. Same type of story, but not talking. Finding out other siblings went through the same thing. Finding out mother went through the same thing. Watch it. I'll link it in here.
I watched it. You sent it to me
I'm talking
last
about,
night.
I'm talking to my audience.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, it was
So
good.
just to say, this is a thing that usually happens and it usually comes from not speaking up. So
Yeah,
even in speaking up, the subtle message still says, guess what? You can still be violated. And as a mother, you took that to the next level and said, I'm going to make sure this doesn't happen to my kids. The healing journey is connected to looking at all the pieces of it. You protected your kids so they didn't have to heal from this
right.
because you did have to
Yeah,
deal with it and heal from it
yeah.
or on the journey, whatever, wherever you are in that. And just to say, it's not just speaking up isn't even always the answer because when you did, you were met with be quiet.
And now that I've had so many traumatic experiences, because, you know, I think it frustrated my mother very much. She didn't say it did, but I got a spanking or a whooping of some kind every single day of my time with her. When my parents finally separated and she left, my sister was crying, my brother was crying. She got on that bus to come to Memphis, and I was like, bye.
How old were you?
I was probably 10. And I was like, goodbye. Now I can have my daddy to myself. Now I can be quiet in the house. Now I can live in peace, because their
Wow.
issues were that combative.
Yes.
And so now I have learned the importance of laying that boundary the first time. The
What's the
first time,
saying? When people show you who they are,
believe
believe
them.
them the first.
The first
That's the
time.
part that people leave off. Believe them the first time.
The first
Don't
time.
excuse it. When you excuse bad behavior, you also condone it.
Yes.
And
And
it
that's
only
what
gets worse.
and that's what I was doing, but I learned how to become an expert at loving a verbally and physically abusive man and woman from my parents.
Mhm.
Because how do you wake up the next day and they're making you breakfast and they laid out your clothes, or they, and you can speak up about it and be told to shut up about it, but like, you love them.
Right. And I will say it distorts our perception of what love
It,
looks like or what we label love as. Well, it's a loving thing to feed me because I'm a kid. Is it a
yeah,
loving thing to keep having these battles around me and disrupting my peace, my space, making my brain have to hear that to go and then go to kindergarten?
right.
And again, you can't address what you can't see when you're deep in it in your brokenness. So that's where the cycles and the repetition and the generational curses get played
Yeah,
out. So
it
thank you,
ends with
Myra.
me. It
This,
ends with me.
I love that. And that is a perfect place to pause. We may talk again because I know you have more.
Anytime.
Thank you. It ends with me. The
Yeah.
generational cycles of abuse and lack of self-worth end with Myra Franklin. Today, she states that for us as an
Amen.
example, as a model for the woman who has yet to step into this healing and to see that there is hope. Stacy speaks hope on the other side of this,
Yes.
which is my book that's in me that has to come out. That's on the other side. When you look back at this, you can say you're looking back, there's still hope, and you're still got more to go. And the levels of healings go, once you heal one thing, then you can see another, and you see another, and you see another.
Yeah.
So in this flowing, beautiful healing journey that God has for us to step into the fullness, you haven't started your podcast yet. And as
No,
you
because
do this, I'm going to
I
call
don't
you
know what
out
to
because that's what
talk
we do,
about.
to explore in the community, to encourage you. You have things to share and to line up with God and say, Lord, how do I do this so that I can reach the people that you've called me to reach?
I'm
That's part
praying.
of the journey. Exactly. It's part of the journey. Podcasting is a healing journey. Let me tell you, this is not easy. And as you stick with it, as you're consistent in it, regardless of what else is going on in life, you will see things and learn things about yourself that you never even knew needed
Yeah.
to be addressed. So to our audience, thank you for being here. If you heard anything, drop a comment, subscribe, like, and share. I always forget to say that. I appreciate the consistency of showing up. And if you're here for the first time, look at the other episodes because this is about your healing. This is about seeing you're not alone. It's about seeing that we heal for the purpose of surrendering our brokenness to God so that He can bind up the brokenhearted. That's what the word says. He calls us to be healed and to be holy because He is holy. So we need His help. We can't do it alone. Thank
No.
you for your participation in somebody's journey today. If you're watching, you're not alone. Myra is here to show you something. Maybe you thought it was just you and you were too ashamed to say anything. Maybe you haven't found the words yet. She just gave you some very courageous, clear statements. So tune in again. We're so glad to have had you, Myra, and we will definitely be in constant communication and see you on a future episode.
Absolutely.
All right. To our audience, be blessed.
Be blessed.
Thank you for watching Stacy Speaks Hope. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. To schedule a free coaching call, the link is in the description.
Grown woman, holding in story she needs to tell what God really wants you to do in this world. In His name, hope to break free from the shackles and the lies that have become your truth and put blinders on your eyes. You built walls around your heart. You have plugged up your ears. Get freedom to hope's what you need. It's in reach. Wipe your tears, little girl.